talk about how to create your own graphics that you can use as buttons and in your sidebar, and basically creating a template for it. And this time I'll be using Photoshop simply because there's a lot more options to keep the layers, and then you just create one file and you can edit it for lots of different things. All right, so let's get started. Here's what I'm talking about on this is a realtor's website, and this is the kind of links that I'm talking about here. So creating basically a graphic button that leads to where we want it to as a link, instead of having the typical buttons, things like this, and having it a little more customized for your website. Another place that you'll see it is like this, and this is in the sidebar. And I'm going to use the same template for a lot of different things. So I've created a template so they can add an image in and easily customize the number of bedrooms, or they can just leave it as a plain, just a plain image, and then just change the text. This is actually what's called an advertisement widget. So it looks like it's a graphic, but it's made specifically for having those Google AdWords or rotating ads that you might be selling space for to make a little bit of affiliate income on your website. But we're using it just in a little bit different way. And the one that comes with the Divi theme actually lets you do 8 different featured ads. This one is actually one specific element. This one is another one. So I haven't used it for all 8 simply because I wanted to change the titles. And then farther down here, these are some more examples of it. This is using 3 different slots in the ads. And this is just a different way you can use it. So you could create these graphics. These are actually from their Coldwell Banker website. And instead of having just links like this that don't look as nice, I mean, they're good and functional. It's up to you if you want to leave them. But you can also just have them as graphics like this. And it's pretty easy to create, like I said, using an Advertisement widget. So this one, for instance, I think is a little bit too much text. If you imagine somebody reading this on their phone, on their smartphone or their tablet, that writing is really, really small. So I wouldn't recommend making any graphic buttons with that much writing. This one is good, just having a thick bar or something like that. Like the other ones on the other page here, for instance, these are good graphics because it's just one big graphic and some text. So any of those are really easy ways to do it. You can do something like that in Canva, but the reason I'm doing it here is because I've made it easy for the realtor to create their own little featured properties with this, because this is actually their home and lifestyle, almost like a magazine website for them, and all their property listings are on a different space. So let's go and take a look at the Photoshop layered files. So here's an example, and what's really great about this is it keeps your sizing consistent throughout all of your graphics, and that's really important if you're going to have things in columns on your website so that they're not all different sizes and kind of throwing off your layout and making it look not very clean and professional. So you can see I've got the same layout for all sorts of different things. These are the links that we see in the commercial and residential links. These are just the colors. These are actually the branding colors, so I've made a colored layer and they can change the opacity. And these are actually just plain links, just a different colored box, and they could just have the name of the link that's going to. Maybe it's recommending some lawyers or mortgage brokers or property inspectors, or they could even have a bit like we did on these ones here. It could be a graphic or a logo for maybe it's the City of West Bank or the Realty Association or something like that, and then just have a bit of colored layer over it, and you're actually using their logo and keeping it consistent with the rest of your branding then. All right, so let's go through how you would add something like this and edit this button, because the others will all follow the similar format, and this is probably the most complicated one to do. So I'm creating a featured property listing. It could even be used for, a contest or something, or getting a free download, a PDF. You could just use the same block and just use some text on it. Like I said, you can use Canva and it's easy to use. So it's canva.com, and it's good for simple graphics. But I used this one to keep it all consistent and have the same size for all their different graphics. So let's find a home that we want to feature. So I'm just going to the real estate listings. Now let's just pick one. It's a good one here. So we'll just view the details, and then I'm just going to do a screenshot because this picture looks really small. So I'm on a Mac, so it's easy to do, Command-Shift-4, or you can use the little screen clipper if you're on a Windows. So let's go to view larger images, and I'm just going to do the screenshot. So that just saves it onto my desktop. So I'm actually going to want to copy this code as well. So I might as well just do it while I'm here, because that link, obviously it's a button, you want it to link to the specific property. So I'm just copying that. Just killing two birds with one stone. And back to the image here. So now I want to insert the image into this place. So I just need to open it up. Basically I'm importing it, but I just want to open it up and I'll show you how to quickly do this. So I want to find it on my desktop, and you can just search by the date modified, so it'll be the most recent one. So it's that screenshot right there. Just open it up. So I want to actually separate that layer out because it does stack them, and leave that other one open in the background. So I'm just going to click on that layer and hold the shift bar, or hold the shift button, and as I drag it over, that means it's actually just going to center it. So you can see now it's actually covering everything because I've put it right over the top, and you can see it actually is bigger than the space we need, which is fine. So I want to drag it over here so it's under the text, and now you can see it's already got the numbers in there, and I can actually just grab onto it because it's still selected over here. I can actually just move it to wherever I want to in the frame. And if I wanted to shrink it, I could just grab the corners. I've got auto select and show transform controls on. So I can actually just hold shift and that keeps the shape. And I can just shrink it like that. So I can just move it up and get rid of that white bar at the top. And move it over a little bit so you can see the pool. And now I would just hit enter and it's going to lock in that size. And the next thing I want to do is change the number of bedrooms. So I'm finished with this image now. I can just close that. And let's just take a look. So it is 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. And garage and parking, there are space for 3 vehicles. So it's 5, 4, and 3. So go back to the graphic here. And I want to edit the text. You can see the numbers here, and I've just got it spaced so the numbers are right aligned up with the icons. So those icons I just got from CanStock and just crop them out. You can find free ones. These just happen to be simple ones that I liked. So go into the text tool. And just change the text that's already there. And that's it. So I can just click on this and it's now locked in the new number of bedrooms and things. So this is ready to bring into the website. So I would resave this as the full Photoshop file. So I'm just going to hit save. So it's added the new layer in there. And for the website, I just obviously want to have this single image. So I'm going to save as. And if you just save it as a JPEG, it will get rid of all the other stuff in here. It's going to save it as a copy, and I'm just going to save it as that single image. So 141K is fine. You probably don't even need that much. Put it on 11 as the quality. That's fine. And it's now saved that single image. All right, so let's go to the website, and we're wanting to add it in this case as this featured property. So I need to go to the widgets. And this is what the widgets look like in the Divi theme. This is fairly standard for the WordPress websites. And I've got a couple of different sidebars. I've got the contact page has a different sidebar than the main one for the blogs. It's up to you if you want to keep the same one. And you can see it says ET Advertisement. So ET is Elegant Themes. That's who creates the Divi theme. So you would just drag in the new advertisement and drag it over. In this case, I actually just want to change it. So I want to change this featured property. And I'm actually going to say featured property. And it looks like it's in Kelowna. So this is where you need to remember what you've got. So the first is the image here. So that's the URL that I copied from, this is the URL that I copied. This is where you want it to link to. So this is the image. So we actually have to import it first into our media library and grab the link and put it in here. I know it's a little bit cumbersome, but it's probably the easiest way to do it. So the titles here, you can change, so when people hover over it, they actually see what it is. And I would just put the same thing in the title. And now we're going to get this link. So I'll just use the media files here. Just go to Media Library and add new. So I could just grab it from my desktop if I saved it there, and drag it in, or I can just select the files. So I remember it was the last one up here. So I always have it select by date modified, so it's filtered. And I would actually normally change this button. This has actually got the same text on there, but in this case it's just for demo. So I would actually name it the correct name, so whatever the property is. Because it's really important for SEO to have it named as the JPEG on your own desktop when you import it, and then you want to name it as the title of the image and give it an alt tag as well that's relevant for SEO. So this is the URL that I want. So this is basically where it is in the media library for my website. And you'll see this quite often if you're downloading a PDF from somebody's, maybe it's an opt-in form or something, or an infographic, or if you just click on an image, sometimes it just opens up by itself, and all it is showing the place where it's located on somebody's own website, on their server. So now I want to go back to the widgets and insert that link. And don't forget to save, that's really important. And this is where I said you can have up to 8 different banners and it will just create a whole long line of them. But I've done them individually for a reason, so I can change the text on it. So remember to hit save, and then I can close it up. And I can actually delete this one. And since I don't want to completely get rid of all the information in there, I can actually just give it to inactive widgets down here, and it keeps all the text that's already in there. So now we can preview it. Let's go back to the website. And refresh it. And you'll see the new featured property, and you'll see that this one has disappeared. There we go. So that's a really easy way to create your own templates so you can make your own graphics for your websites, and using the advertising widget, how to customize it and use it for different features, including having graphic buttons and links.